So what we're looking at here is we're just going to take a peek through some of the differences in the SFO version of Drycha's campaign compared to the normal one. So SFO has been recommended by a number of people and usually is the first recommendation for increasing the difficulty and the challenge in the game. And this is my campaign that I've played the most. Wood Elves, I play the most. Drycha the most of the Wood Elves, is where I looked to see if that's an accurate representation. And I think in some ways it is, but in a couple of really essential ways it is not. So where are the major changes? The biggest change is in this menu in the forests. The economic growth here has been reduced. This money building is generating 100. It generates a lot more grapevines. Let me have a look at the screenshot I have here. Where are we? Yeah, 600 is what it does in vanilla, and it only does 100 here, so obviously that's going to handicap you a little bit. But you can see here that the cost for dryads is only 100. It's 160 something to maintain in vanilla, and then if you look at here, the maintenance cost of these is only 52. Now part of that is from the tech here, upkeep for dryads treekin, and from the tech here, upkeep minus 10% for dryad treekin, and then for the office that this person has, which is also upkeep for dryads units. So the offices have been changed a little bit. The type of hero has been changed. If we look at this fella here, he has Blight of Terrors and by default reduces leadership. That's something that can also be done with Forest Spirit. So against many of the opponents that Drycha will face at the beginning, primarily vampires and Empire, who have pretty horrible morale to begin with, it's very easy to rout the enemy. So there are some increases in AI's resources. They're a little more durable in combat. Cities are a little more durable, the walls and the gates. One of the key components of playing as Drycha is treekin and branch wraiths, and they've been moved from tier 2 up to tier 3. Since this takes 10 turns, you really are delaying the entry of the treekin, and the treekin themselves have been reduced from 12 models to only 8, so they're less potent. But being able to spam dryads at the beginning makes that sort of unnecessarily postponed. It doesn't really matter. The other major issue that does not make it harder to play as Drycha is that you can recruit from these things here, Malevolent Dryads and Glade Guard, from all of these. In the vanilla version, the building that you put up, this for example, doesn't allow any recruiting. The other versions of the building permit the recruiting, and that's either Dryads or the Glade Guard. The ability to recruit in the field here makes this Forest Spirit recruitment far less important. You can't get the Elven units from here, but you can only usually get one Dryad. Well, now you can get as many Dryads as you can afford up to the local recruit limit. So that really doesn't weaken Drycha in any way. The initial portion of the game when you're starting out, there also was plenty of money. I played this campaign a little more aggressively than normal, took out Ostermark and then went straight for Talabek land. Haven't had any trouble. The idiots up here, Ostland, they declared war on me, so I'm going to take care of them. So I would not say that the challenge playing as Drycha has been increased in any way, but it's just been altered. The ability to recruit stupendous numbers of Dryads without having to sit in Griffinwood to do it really means that the change to treekin hasn't done anything. The one unit of treekin that I do have down here in Drycha's army, it only has 8 models, but the only time I've lost any was when I auto-resolved. And that's really where a lot of this came from, my video on auto-resolving and this recommendations to try SFO again. So Drycha herself seems pretty standard. I don't think there's really been any change in any of her abilities. For those of you unfamiliar, Drycha's legendary hero is Coadil. He comes from a quest battle. You can only get Ariel if you confederate Argwalon, which is Durthu, if he has acquired Ariel. But usually playing as Drycha, I find that Orion gets Ariel and not Durthu. So in summary, I'd say that this hasn't changed all that much. Some changes to in terms of difficulty. Some of the changes in the units, again, you can't get the best Wood Elf archers. I tend to play Drycha without getting any archers. This is where you would get spell singers from. They've left the building in here because it does have some effect, but you can't get the units that normally come from there. So these have been greatly reduced. This control is larger than it was before. So that reduces difficulty because you've got less issue with control-based slowing down of your growth. A lot of the events have changed. There's the cycling of the seasons, so when winter comes, that is rather crippling. Well, not crippling, but it is rather troublesome for you as the Wood Elves. You've got these guys at tier 4. Nothing wrong with that. Glade Captains have been moved up here. They used to be down here, but Waystalkers is still here. Not sure why they weren't moved up here when that was, but these are decisions made by the team, so I'm perfectly okay with that. Units that have been added, for example, are these fellas, and I feel that this is a cheat. If you're going to punish the Wood Elves, Drycha in particular, with glamoured elves, then giving them a Dryad that is an archer just seems to obviate the difficulty that you're trying to increase. I do like the colour, but I was instructed, thank you so much to the person that pointed it out, that you can turn off SFO units right here, and so for that I'm very grateful to that. You can control a lot of the difficulty in here, so we'll probably poke into this at future. I don't like giving cheats that simply allow stupid numbers of armies or ridiculous defenses or outlandish abilities. I wish that we could have better AI, but until we do, stat boosting may be the only way to improve it. So the general opinion here is playing SFO to increase difficulty does not work for an experienced Wood Elf, particularly Drycha user, because the benefits, being able to recruit here, getting off to a good start, the empowerment of the improvement in a way of the Treeman powers, instead of just a couple of abilities here, they often have 3. Let's see. This is a good one here, right? Ambush success chance and reinforcement range. If that works, reinforcement range is also given through an ancillary that, as far as I can tell, doesn't work. This is a good one. I mean, using forest spirits and these abilities to rout enemy armies is a really powerful ability. Ward save and lamentation, this is another good one. I think these guys have been made more powerful. They're more expensive than they are in vanilla, but money isn't a problem because you can get so much money from raising and fighting early on in the game. So in all, I don't think this has been made more difficult. I think it has been made different, and I do like having some different things added to Wood Elves for sure. I am very appreciative to those who suggested I give it a go, because the most recent version of SFO has done things that I quite enjoy. I mean, look at the ridiculous number of benefits and abilities these guys have. They're just monstrous. So you can't get Glade Elves, and you can't get Spell Singers. Dude, you do not need them. So in general, this is just different. It's not more difficult unless you jack with the settings, but it does give you an idea that you can find some really interesting alternates in the SFO universe.